Our Tesla only costs us £480 a month, which is amazing for a brand new car with this sort of performance. But how did we actually get that price?
We're the Master Brothers, and we're going to break down how salary sacrifice works in the UK.
Now, to get started, we are not financial advisors, and this is not financial advice. If you do want to get a car through a salary sacrifice scheme, make sure you speak to a financial advisor or do your own research before. Don't go solely off of what we say. But hopefully this gives you an idea of how much you can save if you do get a car through salary sacrifice.
So let's get into it.
Now, first of all, what is salary sacrifice?
Well, that's when you give up a bit of your salary before paying tax on it in exchange for some sort of benefit.
And you can sacrifice for loads of different benefits, but in this video, we're only going to talk about it as it pertains to getting a car.
Now, your employer will have to offer these benefits, but if they don't, you should be able to convince them because at the end of the day, they'll actually save money in terms of employer national insurance contributions.
Now, the reason this works out so well is because you're paying the money before you pay tax on it. So essentially, rather than paying tax on the money first and then paying for something, you're paying for it before you pay the tax on it. So you'll end up paying less tax overall.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing, so let's go through an example.
Yeah.
We're going to be using the salarycalculator.co.uk to help us calculate the salary after tax. So
let's say you make £36,000 a year or £3,000 a month. After tax, that would mean a take-home pay of £2,345, not considering any student loan repayments or any other sort of special circumstances.
Now let's say you wanted to lease a car for £300 a month. With your post-tax salary of £2,345, you'd now be left with £2,045.
Yeah, so you're paying that full £300. Now, instead of paying that £300 after tax, with salary sacrifice, you can pay that £300 before tax. So essentially, you're reducing your taxable income by £300 and not paying income tax or national insurance contributions on that $300.
Sounded very excited there. So instead of having £2,045 after paying for the car, you now have £2,141, which is a saving of £96, which is 33 £3 meal deals.
So basically what that means is that it's not actually costing you £300, it's only really costing you £204. So yeah, it's a big saving. Unfortunately though, it doesn't exactly end there. Now, all of these benefits don't just come for free. There is a little bit of tax you have to pay, and that's called the benefit in kind or the taxable benefit.
So essentially, a percentage of the car's list price is taxable, and that tax is based on the CO2 emissions of the car. So electric cars are brilliant right now because they have zero CO2 emission.
Yeah, so as your car goes up in carbon emissions, the percentage goes up to 37%. So yeah, electric cars are at the bottom of that scale. So yeah, currently it's 1% in this tax year, and then for the next 2 tax years, it's going to go to 2%. So, I mean, relative to 37%, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
We'll put a link in the description for the full table of the benefit in kind rates for the different CO2 levels, but electric cars and hybrids are definitely the best options if you're going to go for a car through a salary sacrifice scheme.
Now going back to our example, let's say that £300 a month lease is for a £30,000 electric vehicle. For this year, the benefit in kind rate is 1%. So on that £30,000 car, your taxable benefit is £300. Now the beautiful thing is that that £300 is your taxable benefit, not the actual tax that you have to pay.
Yes, so on that £300 of your taxable benefit, depending on which rate taxpayer you are, so if you're a basic rate, higher or additional, you'll pay tax on that £300. So if you're a basic rate taxpayer at 20%, you'll pay 20% of £300 over the course of the whole year. So that'll be £60 for the year or just £5 extra a month. So yeah, it really works out with the tax. Yeah, so that £204 lease then becomes £209, but you're still saving £91 relative to the £300 it would be if you paid after you paid the full tax.
Now let's say, for example, you had a £30,000 car that had very high emissions. You would end up paying the maximum benefit in kind rate of 37%.
Yeah, so with that £30,000 car at 37%, your annual taxable benefit or benefit in kind would be £11,100. And if you're a basic rate taxpayer, you'd pay 20% of that, which would be £2,220 or £185 a month. So the salary sacrifice amount that you're paying for the car lease is £204, but on top of that, you have to pay £185 a month in the taxable benefit. So it ends up being £389, which is £89 more than if you just did it after salary sacrifice. So it really does depend on the emissions of the car, and clearly it really works well for electric cars, but for things with high emissions, it's not as good.
Now, everyone's individual circumstances are going to vary, so we suggest you do the calculations yourself or speak to a tax advisor. But hopefully this gave you some insight into how good getting a low emission or electric vehicle can be through salary sacrifice.
Yeah, and the best way to figure it out for yourself is to get the value, the list price of the car, and then find out the benefit in kind rate and multiply that. And then also to use the salarycalculator.co.uk to find out how much your salary would be before making the sacrifice and then after making the sacrifice, and just finding the difference there.
There you have it.
That's all from the Master Brothers.
We'll catch you on the flippity flip.